What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country in Washington, D.C., and everything you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus check update, and daily news. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button right now down below this video. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also help us reach 400,000 subscribers. We're at 399,000. You guys are amazing. We got a lot to talk about here today. Senators are pushing for Social Security reform and SSI reform. We're going to cover that here in this video. And a lot going on here with Russia. They're pushing for more sanctions on Russia. Check this out.
Joining me now is the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield. Madam Ambassador, thank you so much for joining me. Let's first start with the news from the Ukrainian President Zelensky's office that the Ukrainians and the Russians will meet without preconditions on the Belarus border. What are you hearing about that, and how optimistic are you?
Well, that's a decision that the Ukrainian government has to make and that they have made, and we'll look forward to what comes out of those discussions. As you know, Dana, we lean in on diplomacy with the Russians throughout this process, and we hoped that that Putin would find a way to the negotiating table, and he made the unfortunate decision of aggression over diplomacy. But again, this news is another effort by the Ukrainians to find a way forward at the negotiating table.
Effort by the Ukrainians, but from the point of view of Russia, do you think, based on the diplomatic efforts that you were involved in up until now, that this is a good faith effort by the Russians?
You know, I can't get into the Russian, into Putin's head or into Russian reasoning, so it remains to be seen. But let's see what comes of it.
But the U.S. does support this move, this diplomatic effort.
We have always indicated that we wanted to find a diplomatic solution, and Russia chose confrontation. So again, this diplomatic effort is one more effort to bring the Russians to the negotiating table.
Okay, let's turn to new sanctions that were announced by Europe and the U.S., saying that they plan to remove, quote, certain Russian banks from the SWIFT system, the SWIFT financial system, but it wouldn't include the energy sector. As you know, that is a big part of the Russian economy. Why won't you remove all of the Russian banks and transactions from SWIFT?
Look, this process continues, and we're putting together the list, and we'll continue to work on that over the course of the next couple of days. Treasury can give you some details of what is going into the process, but the purpose of the sanctions are to put as much pressure on the Russian economy as possible, and we want to do as much as we can to protect the impact on our own economy. But we're continuing to look at new and even harsher measures against the Russians.
You said the things that you're putting in place now, you want to make sure to protect the U.S. and I'm sure allied economies as well. Are you saying that by including the energy sector, that would put a burden on our economies?
We have not taken anything off the table. We're continuing to look at this. We're ramping up as the Russians ramp up. So there's more to come. And while energy is not in this current announcement, it doesn't mean it's off the table. But we also want to do everything we can to protect our own economy from the impact of this.
Okay. So you also, as I mentioned, announced sanctioning the Russian central bank, and it's nearly $650 billion in reserves. And that's a move intended to crater the ruble. How quickly will that happen? And are you worried that Russians will retaliate?
This is happening very, very quickly. And sanctioning the central bank keeps the central bank from providing protection to the ruble and to the Russian economy. And again, I can't speak for how the Russians will respond to this. Vladimir Putin is very unpredictable. So it remains to be seen how he responds, but he should know when he responds, we will be prepared to respond as well.
So the question here is Putin actually going to negotiate and do something, or are these just talks and he's still just planning to take over Ukraine and that's that? I think it's the latter, but you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. The next question is are these sanctions that are growing increasingly more severe and maybe crippling the Russian economy and their banking system and their dollar? Um, are these really starting to take effect? Remember that the Russian stock exchange, the Moscow Stock Exchange, went down almost by 50% just on the first day that the Russians invaded Ukraine. Basically, the whole world started pulling their money out of the Moscow Stock Exchange. So they are being affected severely, and that was just a stock exchange. And then now all the sanctions, now they're being pulled out of the SWIFT system. So they can't transact with the rest of the world financially through the banking systems. So more and more sanctions now. In addition, there's a lot. There's a lot that is financially happening to Russia. Meanwhile, today, Putin orders nuclear deterrent forces to be put on high alert here. Check this one out. Russian President Vladimir Putin says that he has ordered his country's nuclear defense systems to be put on higher alert, citing what he says are threats from the West amid Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. He says, quote, Western countries aren't only taking unfriendly actions against our countries in the economic sphere, but top officials are leading NATO members made aggressive statements regarding our country, Putin said in a televised address on Sunday. Putin said that leaders from NATO alliance countries have in recent days made a number of aggressive statements in addition to slapping sanctions on Russia and its top banks and officials. Russia's nuclear weapons will be prepared for increased readiness to launch following Putin's remarks, the Associated Press noted. And last week, Putin warned countries that interference with Russian actions will face, quote, consequences you have never seen. And this does kind of raise the question of where does this all end? What happens here? Do you see diplomacy? Do you see Ukraine being taken over? What happens with the Ukrainian president? Does this end bad for him? Does this end with him alive? What happens with Russia and the US? What happens with China? What happens with Europe? What happens with the price of gas, the price of oil, the price of inflation here in the United States? What happens with nuclear weapons? What happens with the stock market? Remember that over 50% of Americans have money in the stock market through their retirement funds, IRA, 401ks, pensions. Yeah, and it affects all of us. Even the price of gas, the price of inflation, the price of food. Everything is being affected right now. And question is how bad is it going to get? How long is this going to go on? These are all really good questions that we don't fully know yet. Let me know your thoughts here. Meanwhile, if you've been watching my show, you know that there has been a large push to reform Social Security benefits and also SSI benefits. You can see here on this screen here, Senator Elizabeth Warren calls for reforms to Social Security SSI rules. You can see here directly on the screen. Senator Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat from Massachusetts, said Thursday that supplemental security income, a part of Social Security, needs to be reformed and called for a passage of the SSI Restoration Act, saying outdated rules have trapped 4 out of 10 recipients in poverty. During a hearing held by the Senate Special Committee on Aging, which focuses on literacy, Warren said that while financial literacy is important for those trying to make decisions, like, quote, trying to make key decisions like planning for retirement, for low income families navigating a thin social safety net that gives them too little help, all the education and counseling in the world can't magically make 2 plus 2 add up to 10. SSI provides a critical lifeline for 8 million low income elderly and disabled Americans, including over 1 million disabled children and the families that care for them, Elizabeth Warren said. But right now, our rules are outdated. They're punitive and they squeeze way too many struggling families out of this program and trap about 4 out of 10 recipients in poverty. The maximum monthly SSI benefit, maximum, is $841 in 2022. She said the average benefit, though, is below $600 per month. And you got to kind of wonder, how can you live on that? You can't even afford an apartment on that. I believe the average rent nowadays is over $1,000. I guess it really depends on where you live. You can see here Google says the average rent could be $1,000, could be less. Really depends on where you live. North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Texas. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. Really just depends. Elizabeth Warren asked Cindy Hounsell, president and founder of the Women's Institute for a Secure Retirement, who testified at the hearing, if $600 a month, which is the average, is adequate to live in financial security and save for retirement. And she responded, thanks, Senator, for covering that issue. No, it's not in any way adequate. Obviously, it's only half of the poverty level for elders. Yeah, and Social Security retirees are really, as you can see here, coping with the biggest financial challenge in 40 years, and that's the pandemic and inflation. Inflation's at the highest it's been in 40 years, and cost of living adjustment is only helping some. In fact, a lot of people on Social Security got their benefits reduced, got their food assistance reduced because of the cost of living adjustment. So it didn't really help out a lot of people, which is absolutely insane to think about that. Every time I even think about that, I can't help but think that we need to get some change. In fact, I just sent out this tweet again. I slightly changed it, added a few more people here. Basically, the max amount I can send in one tweet. I hate that you have a max character amount on Twitter, but it is what it is. I just sent this out here. If you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter and retweet this, like it, send it out. Again, I'm not on Social Security, but I want to be an advocate for the millions of people that are on Social Security. I'd like to see this change. I think it's absolutely terrible, a travesty, that people that are on Social Security get a cost of living adjustment and then see their food benefits reduced. I think that this absolutely just a terrible, terrible rule and needs to be changed this year. You can see my tweet here, just sent out to members of Congress here. Millions of people on SNAP, food assistance benefits, had their benefits reduced because of the cost of living adjustment raise. This is crazy. We need a bill to change this introduced now. Make this change, help now. And I tagged all the people that are basically for, or all the people that I could tag here in this one tweet that are for Social Security reform and Social Security changes. Senator Bernie Sanders, AOC, I tagged the president, Vice President Cory Booker, Ron Wyden, and a bunch of people here. So we need to get this done. We need to get this done. We need to get a change made. So, um, yeah, we need to get a bill introduced here this year. This is something that can easily be done here. There's no reason that something like this can't be done. I don't see any reason why this can't get bipartisan support. I mean, this is for people this is just to help with food assistance, right? And this is for low income people. I mean, this seems like the biggest no-brainer in the history of Congress, right? This is something we need to get done this year. So let's get this support. In fact, I think I've never seen anybody even come up with this idea before I did. And I've just really, in fact, I didn't even come up with this idea. You guys did in the comments. And I've just kind of brought your guys' idea to light. And I just want to be a platform for you guys to help you guys out. I see your guys' comments every single day. So really, I'm just trying to bring your guys' idea, or really a problem that a lot of you guys are struggling with. You guys get a cost of living adjustment, a Social Security raise, and then they take away your other benefits. That's something that needs to change. That's something that needs to change. They can do this. One way they can do this is by having a cost of living adjustment raise in other benefits as well, like food assistance. Okay. Um, SNAP benefits as well. They can have a cost of living adjustment raise in those as well. That's an easy way they can do that. So let me know your thoughts here. Again, something's got to change. And listen, they do this type of stuff all the time. Antiquated programs that are old and don't have, they just haven't thought of, something needs to be changed. They change programs like that all the time. In fact, Elizabeth Warren is literally calling for SSI to be reformed, to get rid of the income limits, that you can only have a certain amount in your bank accounts. The limits are too low. They don't pay enough. Social Security reform with the Social Security 2100 Act, led by Representative John Larson, to raise the Social Security benefits up to $1,341 per month for everybody, because too many people work their whole lives and just don't have enough money to survive on. That would be 125% of the federal poverty level. There's a lot of push for reform on Social Security benefits, SNAP benefits, food benefits, a lot of these different things for seniors and for children. Think about the child tax credits as well. I mean, a year or two ago, there were no monthly payments, and then all of a sudden they reformed it, came out with monthly checks. Okay. Now, of course, Congress is struggling a little bit. For 2 months, they haven't been able to repass the bill, but they did have monthly checks for a year. Now, of course, I think they're going to figure something out and get those going again. But, Congress, they, sometimes struggle, and Republicans and Democrats can't ever agree. But regardless, they need to get reform done again here for seniors as well. So let me know your thoughts here. I just sent that tweet out. I'll put a link down below in the description of this video to my Twitter account if you want to retweet, if you want to follow me on Twitter. Again, that costs nothing as well. It's just another platform. It's just a way to send out messages to Congress, to politicians, because they're on Twitter, and to basically get momentum and support for forced stimulus checks, other bills like this. Again, if they take away your food benefits, or if you get support for forced stimulus checks and other ideas like that, that is exactly how the second stimulus check was born, and then the third stimulus check was born. These things actually happen from grassroots efforts like this that I literally got from you guys in the comments. I didn't even make this up. I read it from you guys in the comments, because I read your guys' comments every single day. And I'm just a platform here for you guys, speaking with you guys every day. And I see your guys' struggles every single day. So I just want to be a voice here for you guys in the community, bringing you guys the daily news, the daily stimulus news, what's going on here on a daily basis, and also a voice here for you guys on a daily basis. So let me know your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. It's literally free to do so. You just click the subscribe button if you haven't yet. That makes it so you won't miss out on new videos, and the algorithm will show you the new videos when they come out. So if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe right now. It also help us reach 400,000 subscribers, which is just kind of a goal I'm trying to reach. I'm at 399,000 and help us reach that. So remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest video next. You can also click here to learn more about the $1,341 Social Security raise. I just did a video on that. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.